Okay, everybody, welcome to the stream here. I'm Ketura, and we have Big N19 and dmaz today for the Sealed Masters qualifying event, where we are going to watch a few players go through the Allies Sealed Masters event. Big N19, why don't you kick us off and give us an explanation here of what it is that the players are going to be seeing?
Sure. So we have another league here with 4 different decks that are centered around different allies or allies from a certain area. So I'll go over, I guess, the 4 decks here. The first one we can start off with is Lothlorien. And this deck, I don't think I saw anyone play it during the league itself. Maybe people think it's quite weak, and it might be the weakest, it's possible. But I don't think it's quite as bad as people think. I think it has good swarm potential with the Moria orcs, and excuse me. And in this league, there isn't a whole lot of ring bearer protection, so the swarm can end up being decently deadly. It also has the ability to shoot things down in both the archery phase and in the regroup phase with the Site 6 archers, Rumil, Orphan, Caliglin, and I guess Dinendel doesn't shoot things down, but helps you double anyway. So this league, or this deck, relies on shooting down potential problem minions, and then tries to either get stops by keeping minions alive and threatening a swarm, or by gathering enough small minions in hand to swarm the ring bearer. Yeah, there's a lot of cards like Swanship of Galadriel, which let your elf allies participate in skirmishes, and that helps you have a few extra bodies laying around to keep your guys alive. And then Celeborn also helps out by helping you recycle your elven events back into hand every time you double move. So this lets you have a bit of flexibility. You could bring back Swanship of the Galadriel again and have another ally available to kill off if you need to during the double. So that's the gist of the first deck there. Let's move on to Rivendell. This deck played very well during the league portion of the event. The big hitters for this deck are Arwen, who once you get 3 allies out is pretty much a beast, especially if you get her trusty steed Asphaleth on her. And then your other big companion is Glorfindel, but his spotting requirement is 2 elven companions, so you can't start with him, and if you don't draw him early, sometimes your companions die off a little bit too quick and he becomes dead weight. That is just a discard card. So if you draw him early, it can be really helpful. If you can't play him, it's a big issue. Again, this deck has cards also that help your allies fight in skirmishes. So Support of the Last Homely House is something that lets your Site 3 allies fight if you need them. And then the condition Forests of Lothlorien is one of the key cards. You get 3 copies of this, and if you can spot 3 elven allies when you double move, you get to wound a minion for each copy that you have, which really helps with doubling. So that's the gist of the Free People side. On the Shadow side, we have Nazgul, and these Nazgul can get pretty nasty. Most of them aren't fierce, but you have ways of making them fierce with things like, I think there's a Fell Beast in here, is there not? Or perhaps not. Oh yeah, there's one, there we go. Yeah, so there's a few cards that can help you be fierce. There's also, where is it here? Too many Nazgul names that I can't think of. There's also the condition They Came from Mordor, which lets you pull mounts back either from your draw deck. So it can help you set up things from the draw deck that you don't have in hand, sort of hand extension. Yeah, and really it's just sort of a beatdown of Nazgul. They're going to win most skirmishes because the companions aren't overly strong in this league. And then you're just hoping to get stops and really punish hard with some fierce skirmishes if they decide to double. So it's a fun shadow to play. You also have the condition, what is it called? Hatred Stirred, where every time you win a fierce skirmish, you get to shuffle Nazgul card back from your discard pile into your draw deck. And that can set things up by recycling key cards again. So it's a pretty fun shadow to watch. There's a lot of strategy and setup with it as well, which makes it strategically fun as well. So yeah, so that's the Rivendell deck. How much time till they start here? I might have to talk faster. We got 10 minutes of deck building.
Yeah, 10 minutes, okay, and then there'll be a 5-minute 5-minute buffer to turn in. So we got 15 minutes.
I guess unless they all submit their decks, I guess. If they're already early, then it'll kick off, I think.
Yeah, looks like TMSS2 has his in and Wing-Fetted. Mocker's still looking.
Okay, I'll try and go a little faster then. So third deck is the Thrarin deck, which focuses entirely on having Thrarin as a key cog that can fight many times. So there's 4 copies of Endurance of Dwarves, the condition to let him have a whole bunch of vitality, and then he can bear several weapons, a hand weapon, a hand axe, dwarven bracers, all sorts of things like that to make him decently strong. And then there's also multiple ways for your Gondor companions to allow him to skirmish. There's 2 copies of Horn of Boromir and 3 copies of the event One Who Men Would Follow, which depending on who you want to exert, you can use one of those to let him participate in skirmishes. And of course, Thrarin also has the ability to exert himself to participate in skirmishes, but you might not always want to put a wound on him. Then, if you need to heal him, you do have 1 copy of the condition Shoulder to Shoulder, and you can potentially pass some wounds off of Thrarin back onto Arwen. So really, he's just a weird key cog, and in terms of companions, you get to start with Aragorn and Boromir, because we have the Strider version, which only costs 1. So it's a fun but difficult to play setup. I think it can work, especially if you draw a Gimli in one of your packs, because then you have a companion that can also fight and use some of these weapons that Thrarin wouldn't normally use. And then on the shadow side, we have a Mordor, or a Sauron, kind of swarm, or you kind of just want to get stops with this deck. It does have some wounding potential. You have a few weapons that can make your orcs survive, and you have a few minions like Orc Slayer and also Morgul Slayer that if they survive the skirmish, they get to exert in the regroup phase to wound a companion. So you can create some interesting situations with that. But primarily what this shadow wants to do is play a bunch of minions, make sure that they survive, and threaten either a swarm or too powerful of a beatdown if a double move happens. So also a more a more difficult deck to play. But I think with the right pulls, it can be quite interesting how this deck can interact with some of the other ones. And then moving on to the last deck here, excuse me, the Villagers deck is pretty fun. It utilizes all the Villager synergies, so you have a whole ton of Villager allies that can heal or can pump in various ways. And then the key fighter in this deck is Eowyn, and with her base 6 strength, you can then put her sword on her, which makes her +3 in damage +1 if you can spot a villager, and then also a Rohirrim bow, so she becomes a decent fighter at 10 strength with those weapons. And so you're really just trying to beef her up, shoot things down with your 4 copies of Rohirrim bow, and set up a few doubles, and then use your allies to heal you and win some skirmishes here or there. On the shadow side, I got to use some cards that never see play, like some of the events and the conditions in this deck. So things like Come Down, where you can spot 2 Isengard archers and shoot allies instead of companions during the archery phase, is very relevant in this deck, or in this league as a whole, as it can shoot down some pretty key cogs in different decks. And then the event Driven Back is also quite interesting, where you can spot 2 archers to make the minion archery total +1 for each card in the dead pile. So if your draw order is nice and you have 2 of these toward the end of the game, you can end up doing quite the onslaught of archery wounds. But as a whole, it's pretty much just shoot things through the air with your 8 archers, maybe win a skirmish here or there with them. And then you have a few bigger minions like 2 copies of Uruk Rearguard that will probably do some damage and can also pump others if you're at a battleground, which there's a few of in this deck. And then, yeah, just a few other 9 and 10 strength minions here or there. So yeah, the main thing though is you're probably going to beat down with archery and then try and get some stops with some bigger Urukai. So yeah, that's the summary of the decks. I think they've started the games here.
Oh,
okay. So they're just starting right now.
Okay, so it looks like Wingfoot got the bye because only 3 people showed up. And then just to real quick, so we're going to get 1 booster pack from each of the first 6 sets, and then one of these 4 decks. So 6 boosters worth of stuff, basically. So here's our game.
Give you some variety, a little bit of variety.
Yeah. So here we have Mock versus TMS.
Yeah, I know Mock played the Thrarin deck and actually beat me with it during the league. But this time he drew a Gimli, which he didn't have last time. So that's going to be a really interesting interaction to see how it plays with being able to beef up a companion and still have Thrarin at the back row. And then TMSS is playing what I think most people would now believe to be the best deck of the 4, and that is the Rivendell deck. So let's see if he gets Glorfindel early or gets his allies set up early, because those are pretty key for his fellowship. I'm interested to see how this plays out.
He had West Farthing, almost never a card that is used in Constructed. He could have used it, but missed it, I think, because it's so easy to overlook, and it's definitely not as powerful as Prancing Pony or one of those other key Site 1 cards that are normally included. Weathertop,
this is interesting. So Weathertop, and then I believe there's Site 3. I'm just going to double check in this deck. Oh no, it's not. It's not Ford. It's House of Elrond. Yeah, that's right. I remember thinking it'd be too strong if you let the Nazgul hit hard on 2 and 3 and then still be so big going forward.
Ford is good enough to be the go-to in Constructed even. So yeah, that would be quite a bit.
Yeah. I'm sure. So I know dmaz played the Thrarin deck. What was your experience like for this matchup against Nazgul?
Yeah, it was tough. I think I told you, first blush, you're always like, oh my goodness, feels unplayable. But when it's just the first go round, you need a few more experiences of this. You need, I think, several iterations of the league or tournaments to really see how things shake out. You can't have one event and then just make your determinations, based on that entirely. But it's tough because, Ferrarin, you can beef him up, but he'll get to base strength 8. Of course, if you're pulling him with the horn, he'll get up to 11 there. So Thrarin can potentially take down a 10 strength Nazgul. But Thrarin also doesn't have any pumps that I can recall other than using his Endurance of Dwarves during the skirmish. So if the Nazgul has a pump to beat him out, you could, if you're putting all your eggs in the basket with Thrarin, you could run into trouble there. But it does rely a lot on Gondor vitality as well to keep him coming back.
Does the Nazgul deck have any fear or anything like that in it? Or is it?
I don't believe so, no. Although certainly people pulled that card against me and played it, and it was very good when they did.
Yeah, target that Thrarin right away.
Yeah. Yeah, something that I think would be a really interesting pull for the Thrarin deck as well would be Lord of Moria, which is the condition that makes dwarves damage +1.
Ooh, yeah.
Because then, when you beef him up and let him win some fights, he actually starts clearing minions a little bit more. And yeah, I think that would be interesting to see how the deck plays. I was just double checking. Yeah, it is a card that says each dwarf, not each dwarf companion. So he would get the damage +1 boost from that pull. So I never saw anyone playing with that, but I think it's an interesting idea That is
Mm.
very possible with it being a common card.
Yes, yeah. I did like for the shadow, I like the orc swordsman and your blade options. I think you also not just vile blade, didn't you? Trying to see if you also gave them. Yeah, there are scimitars in there. I do recall on some of the wins that I had with the Thrarin deck. If you play the shadow strategically, you could get steamrolled if your opponent builds up his guys and you just you can't get through it. But
Ooh.
then with the swordsman, you can get stops. That was pretty big too.
So yeah,
Yeah, that
Arwen
was
Arwen
huge.
gets taken out. Yeah, here by that exact
Yeah,
combo that you were just talking about pre-game.
yeah. So he surprised him there. He had the Orc Swordsman, and he surprised him with a Mordor
Hmm.
Strength to exert to do a wound. So he ended up with 2 wounds on Arwen, and then Morgul Slayer finishing the job in the regroup phase. That was massive.
Beautiful.
That was a massive start. You basically took out the key companion on the first turn,
And TMS had
and
a fantastic setup here too, with the 2 copies of
yeah,
Forest of Lothlorien. Once 3 elf allies were going to begin play, I think this was going to be an unstoppable juggernaut, with
yeah.
every
This deck
move causing 2 wounds and Undomiel being really huge. But yeah, now that's been hampered quite a bit.
Yeah, that was a really nice setup from Mock there. Basically making it so that the swordsman had to be assigned to Arwen, and using that pump very very smart.
Yeah, he'll want to draw into Elrond so he can try to. He's going to fish for his Glorfindel now. Really, is who he's going to need as his backup kind of tanky companion.
And if he
Yeah, the
loses anyone
interesting thing
else,
here,
he'll be in trouble because he needs 2 elves to be out
Right.
for
yeah,
that to
this
be
is when you can
possible.
run into problems when you lose your elves early, and all of a sudden now you're stuck with basically nobodies, and you're going to lose all the skirmishes. So there's a good chance this battle turns into basically does can TMSS kill him with the Nazgul? That might end up being how it goes. Okay, Halter's an interesting pull though. So that was okay. He's got some elves from his pack, so he's actually in okay shape. That Nath Warband. That's huge, and I think he's pretty fortunate to have drawn Haldir with it, because the 3 elf spotting is a major hurdle.
Yeah.
So
So now it
okay,
shouldn't be
that's
any problem at all getting Glorfindel on the table once he draws it.
yeah, and he's got all 3 copies of Forests of Lothlorien already now.
Now he's just
So
gunning for those allies. Yeah, as soon as he gets a couple more of those, every move is going to practically be free. I mean, you're going to get those 3 wounds coming out. You'll get to
yeah,
pick and choose who falls.
yeah, this is
Getting
interesting.
stopped is tough. You can, I would say, probably more often get a stop at right like site 4 if they're worried that you're going to swarm at 5 if you get a scout, the right scout down and then swarm them with Sauron. But um, that's really what from playing this one. That's what the Sauron deck like. I think you already mentioned that too. Nelson was just you got to try to get a stop with that threat of the swarm,
Yeah,
or pull off a combo.
yeah, yeah. That was the combo early is not what you see a whole lot with this deck, but it worked out really well at site 2. But like you said, yeah, it's usually try and get that stop, try and threaten having too many problems if they double. But yeah, this is interesting. I thought it was going to be big trouble until he dropped 2 more companions here, and there's a potential opportunity to try to double through the sanctuary. I don't know if he will. Um, I do like this choice of probably just throwing away the Sentinel. He doesn't really do much for this deck other than eat up a few wounds and then die. But okay. So based off playing Feathered, it seems like he's planning on not doubling.
On the other hand, I mean, he used it up against an unwounded minion. I think he's just getting that out of his hand. But yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, you're right. Does
Yeah, that
decide there.
trooper could have gotten pretty big, even against
Yeah,
the war band. Could have been in peril.
true. I like that in this deck I'm able to put some Sauron cards that almost never get used into the decks, and they actually have some relevance, like
Yeah,
that Warband.
absolutely. Yeah, you can if you keep your hand pretty big and you know general pool of cards that your opponent has, if they're lacking pumps, then you can really get a stop there. Oh, he
Ooh, this is
passed.
interesting. Oh no.
Ouch.
Natural
Completely
swarm.
nut hand.
Oh man, no, that's tough.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
imagine too that Mock probably has the event in hand where he can exert Aragorn, and then he'd be able to have Grimir fighting as well.
Mm.
It's rough. And now you really got to focus on that shadow.
Looks like Mock is choosing to just pile up those endurances on his own Gimli instead of using them for Thraren's ability. Which, if you don't have anything
Yeah,
built up on Thraren, is probably the call to make.
that's interesting doing it that way.
So here is our 3 elf allies.
It gives
So now,
you the just having the Gimli gives you the ability to kind of say, all right, do I want these possessions on my allies or do I want them on my companions? Kind of that power that you have with the Rohan deck, the Rohan allies. You can interchange. You could play those bows on Eowyn. You could play them on your villagers as well.
yeah, I think I really enjoyed building these decks in a way that it's actually a decision where you want to put some of your weapons, whether you want it on a companion or ally. I think that's a really fun decision-making process in this league. So, yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. That's a really good point.
So it seems like
I like
looking
the
at these, I would assign the 6 to the 5 here and try to bait Mock into using the Orc Fanatic to self-discard to win that particular skirmish. But no, it looks like, yeah, support of the last homely house is going to be used to allow Selinde to skirmish. Now that seems like a little bit of a risk.
You do have backup if in case he gets wounded, but not
Yeah,
if he has.
but if
He's
you
going to take two
yeah,
wounds.
if you're down to just the one,
He,
Yep.
he does have he does have air restore who can prevent a wound though if he needs to.
fair.
How many of that mortar strength? Let's take a look at that real quick.
I think it's
Just think.
2 off the top of my head. Yeah, it is just 2.
Yep. Gotcha.
That is the Mordor Strength. If you pull that, which again it's a common card, so it's possible that you can. Having 3, I think, is reasonable to play as well. There was a nice play to get a kill from the Orc Marauder.
Missed it while I was
Yeah.
looking at stuff. What happened here? We had
He discarded the Orc to pump him +3, and then was up to 14 Strength to overwhelm. Okay, and he's going to double and use all his conditions to kill off the Marauder, the potential problem, I should say. That's a good double. I like that. So what's
Yeah.
interesting is that TMSS still has the ability to win the race to 9 here. He's going to have to go 3-5, 5-7, 7-9. But with 3 copies of this condition, it's pretty possible. Like Mock has to make sure he has enough minions to have a chance of swarming potentially.
He's gonna have to double somewhere if, like you're saying, if TMSS2 is able to pull off the double to 7, then puts pressure on Mock to have to double somewhere. I mean, Gimli's looking pretty tanky right now, so let's see what happens.
Yeah, okay, there we go. So now he decided to put
Put one
one of the
more.
Endurance of Dwarves on Thrarin, which I do like that play. I think with 4 copies of Thrarin, you want him to be able to exert to fight and take a wound and stay alive.
ooh.
That's wow. Woo-hoo.
Yeah, so the ring draws them. He's already got 4 burdens that have been built up on Frodo here, so that's 4 Twilight. So long as he manages to juggle it properly with the Nazgul, because if he doesn't play any Nazgul, he has to exert a Nazgul to keep this into play.
Correct.
And with that sword, he's damage +1 with the 3 burdens too. Yeah, generally one of the reasons to not bid too high in this league is the threat of the Nazgul sword, because it can be so deadly if you get it on a fierce minion, and you're hitting for 4 wounds essentially.
Yeah, I felt that in one. I typically like bidding high, try to go first, but when you're bidding three and you know that Nazgul sword's out there, um, it can really cut you down. Definitely get a stop. I'll say that. Ooh.
Ooh, this is gonna hurt.
Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah, it's
say, which one do you
interesting.
do? Like, since Otsia has another use for his vitality, you probably want to put it on Lamenia. But Lamenia
Right.
is the stronger one, so if there's any way
Mm.
to throw a wound out, and it doesn't look like there is on the table at least.
Yeah, unless he's got some sort of pump that we don't know about, I can't imagine any of these companions or allies winning a skirmish here.
Right. There are no dwarf pumps. I mean, the packs, that's you get that those six boosters. It's a little, it's not a lot, but you could have some surprise cards in those.
And the
Hmm.
interesting thing about this is that because Mock is so far ahead, he's already past the sanctuary. So he's taking advantage of the fact that he's ahead by moving forward, but now, like, he's gone unscathed until now when the herd is finally coming out. And he's only got, what, the vitality here on the table that we see. And
Yeah,
I think,
he's definitely considering, I think, exerting Aragorn with the event to let Grimir fight is my guess. Like I know that he could be just thinking about using Thrarin, but I'd imagine he's been holding an event in hand potentially.
this is 8 wounds that we're
Yeah.
seeing here, with both damage plus 1 swords, and both of them are just straight up fierce.
You could have two. Um, I mean, I guess it's a moot point. You exert Aragorn twice, put Grimmer up to, a level to where he could survive one skirmish and then die on the second one,
Sure.
barring any pumps. Of course, there are pumps for the Nazgul that could change it.
Yeah,
Well,
the pumps would be quite interesting.
yeah, considering that vitality is the big resource that matters here, it seems like that would probably be a pretty
Right.
rotten trade.
This armor of Khazad-dûm is going to be pretty relevant, so you can add threats to prevent wounds if they're. Oh, okay,
Mm.
he's got that's interesting.
Okay, where was it? Right here. No mere ranger.
Okay,
Okay.
that's huge.
Yeah, that's pretty massive. Not getting that fifth burden.
That's a pretty nice pull. I believe that's a rare card. Let me just double check.
Yeah, that's rare.
Yeah. So that was his Mines of Moria pack, which is nice to get a relevant rare out of Mines of Moria. That seems pretty rare.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's fun to see those cards. It's just like, man, where would you ever find this in constructed? But when you have these unique, decks that you put together, Nelson, it just is like, hey, this is kind of you've got that guy with the Aragorn signet. You get an Aragorn in the boot starter, so it's almost like a no brainer.
Looks like they're all
Yeah,
Aragorn signets, really. So yeah, that was a great pull.
yeah, it's fun seeing cards like you said that would never see play otherwise have massive amounts of relevance.
And Gimli pulled off that move you were talking about, Armor of Khazad, turning one of the wounds, the second wound, into a threat. So now it's hanging out there waiting, but not dealing damage on the table.
Yeah, having that armor on Gimli is huge. Like he can just tank so many things, and then you can kill someone off and put all those threat wounds on Frodo and do it again. So it's going to be tough to get through the Gimli with the Nazgul. So I'm expecting TMSS to try to double here, because he very well might need to win with his free peoples.
Yeah, I think I see, with a lack of healing, unless he pulled anything to be able to heal Aragorn, um, it's this is where you can get into trouble with that Thrawn deck as well. You've got three. I think you get 3/1 who men would follow. Anyway, there's a lot of things that will exert your Gondor companions, but not really a lot of healing. So it's like, risk reward. There's a lot of reward there, but there's also the risk. It's pretty balanced. So now as Aragorn is kind of maybe cannon fodder, he might consider throwing him out because he's just adding the
Right.
Twilight every move.
That's true. Yeah, the Twilight. Every extra one is very relevant when you don't want to get swarmed.
I mean, especially when you've already got this big ol' chunk that's going to be going on, so it's
Yeah.
so the
Now,
scouting
didn't
bad's self-exerting.
Mock passed on site 5? Was that correct? I'm trying to remember. I think he just
Yeah,
left that one
yeah, because
minion
TMS
there.
didn't have anything to play on site 5, so it was a free double from 4 to 6 for Mock.
Or no, I mean, did Mock play another minion at site 5? He just left that one.
Right. It
Just
looks
I,
like
I
the
see.
same
Yeah,
thing.
Was just kind of thinking, does he have a swarm he's trying to? Wow. I was thinking maybe he's got a swarm, but
seems like he must be saving some free people's cards, but it might get him in trouble potentially.
this
Oh,
is
playing this
interesting.
one by itself, if that's your only like condition discard, I feel like that could have really hamstrung him if he'd held on to that. But
Yeah, my guess is that he's trying to just cycle the hand and gear up for a free people's win here, but ugh, that's going to be interesting. If he draws Boromir, it's going to be huge. Boromir with his horn, and maybe he's been holding on to a copy of the horn the whole time, hoping to find that Boromir.
yeah.
Okay, he discards one whom men will follow because he can't exert Aragorn. Okay, there's someone who can just die in a skirmish if you need him to. This is good. I like how close this game has turned out despite the crazy start. You know?
So we've got that throw-in starting to get built up now.
Ooh,
Another
look at that
cannon
site.
fodder. It's
Yeah, the
That's right.
archery is going to
22.
be relevant.
Yeah, oh boy. And we've got Anduin Banks, so we've got two. No, we'll have 4
Yep.
minion archer total.
Yep. And then this Nertea here is going to pump every Nazgul because he can spot 6 companions, so he's almost definitely going to instantly kill someone in the first skirmish to get rid of that boost. This Toldea is very nice. Can't remember if he's played any events yet, though.
Does he have any? Ah, shoot, we still haven't changed the darn format to let us look in the discard pile.
I don't remember him playing anything, but he may have cycled one at some point.
Right. Yeah, he had a very difficult early shadow. Didn't have many chances to put anything down. Yeah, he's definitely carefully counting.
Yeah, Lamenia gets to pull a mount from the discard pile. I'm going to guess it'll be Fell Beast.
That's tough. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, there we go.
I mean, it's like you said, Nelson. This is shaping up to be a close one. You know, Gimli can certainly tank quite a bit of this, but
But the more he
with
tanks with all these
that
throwaways,
community,
there's more threats that's going to come on the table. So it's really just deferring it.
yep.
Yeah, I'm wondering if he's going to throw his. Oh, he only has one Dwarven Axe. I thought he had 2. If he throws the one, he might be able to set up a situation where, well, I guess even with these massive strength,
Yeah,
Laureate Swordsman's going to be useless.
Now we have the
you get
4
rid
minion
of.
archer total. Oh boy. I think it's probably good at this point to just choose to kill the Lorien swordsman to get rid of the +2 strength from Nertea. But
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll probably end up killing Aragorn and Theoden, I guess.
Yeah. Then you're down, but then it's like the chances of doubling. You got all that Twilight usually late game in Fellowship, even if you're staring down 2 or 3 Nazgul, is you hope if you've got some tricks you can pull allies into play. Is that, hey, Nazgul are expensive. He's only going to be able to play a couple at site 9. But things are a little interesting here because he's able to add that 4 Twilight. And the Nazgul in this deck are relatively cheap. You could be staring down quite a few fierce Nazgul.
I'm not sure about the
And he's going
logic
to
of
be.
putting those 3 archery wounds on Frodo, especially when you have these relatively high vitality guys that are going to get chewed up anyway. Like,
Well, I
the
think the
swordsman
reason he.
is. What's
The
that?
swordsman, no, he I think he kept, well, this is weird. I thought he was going to put Lamenia on the swordsman because I think TMSS made a mistake exerting Lamenia with the condition because it made it so that the swordsman can fight him without dying, but then I don't know if he didn't recognize that.
Okay, he has a pump. I see what he's trying
Interesting.
to do.
Okay. That's
See,
huge.
Oh,
that's
and so
helpful.
he was kind of hoping, I think, that if he'd still had Theoden there, he could have exerted a minion as well. Not that I think he's going to make much headway, but every little bit helps.
This is a good game to watch. It's fun seeing the strategic power of the Thraren deck, and
I think,
potentially he's building a swarm hand. He might have a lot of minions. Mock might have a lot of minions in that because I haven't seen him play a lot of orcs in the last couple turns.
right. I think part of the reason for keeping Lorien's swordsman alive is to have Arwen's ability online, where you can exert an elf to make a minion skirmishing her -1, so she can then fight a 12 strength Toldea if she needs to. So he could go that route.
Yeah, that does make sense.
And then kill him off even. Well, I mean, he likes liking using that armor. You can easily kind of dispatch those threats. Hey, Nelson, just like you called it right
Yeah.
there. A Site
This is
9, you
interesting.
can get rid of those threats as burdens pretty easily. He might be counting on that or hoping for that.
Well, okay, yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah, this ring can do that, since the threats
This is
will
going to be
work during a
interesting.
skirmish.
Does he double here, and he knows he's going into Emmenwheel at the site where he can make sure that all of the Nazgul are fierce by
Oh heck
exerting
no!
them.
Yeah, this is you can't move now. Not with this setup. Oh no!
Oh, and he's drawn. Oh, it's not. He changed the site out. Oh no!
Oh, and
That's
he
I think
drew
that,
4 cards, so now he's at 12. And there's 3 threats on the table. This could.
25 yeah. Can he make enough
this
of them fear? This is the
this
question,
is going to be
right?
fun.
You could also have just random minions.
Oh,
A lot of people that just had a random Uruk here or
Oh,
there.
and then he takes even more.
draw 3 more, or look at 3 more cards. Oh, what did he get? He
So
only got
he
Nertea,
got
which
he got
can't play.
Nertea, which is not useful because
Moving
he's
this
already
way
got.
is really clutch here. I love, seeing. Of course, that's used in the War of the Ring sealed, but it's just fun seeing it used. You don't see it in constructed, as far as I know, too much
Right.
anyway.
11 cards, 17 Twilight. You couldn't ask for more glut. Oh man, here
1,
comes.
2, 3, 4. Looking at 4 fierce right now.
Each
Andy,
time a
yeah,
companion is
Andy
killed, you may
has.
exert him to exert the ring bearer. Ring bearer's already exhausted those, so that won't come into play.
He's got moving this way in the support area too, so that if he has any duplicate Nazgul, he gets to essentially draw another card.
Right.
Lingering Shadow. That won't matter here. We've got nothing. That he just played that to get it out of his hand, I think.
Can he play a mount with that? Let's see. Discard this from player. Remove 2 tokens to play a mount from your draw deck. So if he has, which he did, he had that steed, which will let him draw more cards.
Oh, and he's
Oh,
out of stuff to do. 9 cards in hand. Oh my goodness, that is
let's
very
see that.
unlucky.
1, 2, 3, 4 fierce. Too little, too late.
I think this is going to be a
Yeah,
bloodbath because those 3 threats are.
Yeah, there's something.
Now, can the Armor of Khazad turn threats into threats? Yeah. Can he just infinitely juggle threats if he puts them on Gimli?
I don't know how that works, but that's so interesting.
Take a wound.
You may add a threat to prevent that. Yeah, so if he takes 3 threat wounds and then adds 3 threats to prevent those 3 threat wounds, like
yeah, because threats have to be instantly. It's not like they just kind of float out there like, oh, keep applying those threats because they're still floating around.
Right, exactly. Yeah, you take them and apply them. Yeah.
That's such a crazy interaction.
I mean, it's a set 17 card, right? Like, so it doesn't surprise me that that particular interaction was not one that was thought about. But I wonder if Mock's going to see it. Not that it might. I don't know. It may not matter. We have 3 of these are fierce.
4 of these, because Nertea also has a Fell Beast on him.
Oh, yeah. So 4 fierce Nazgul and a bunch of weenies. So a bunch of people that can, in fact, go down. So we may see if the threat thing starts to matter.
You got to wonder.
this
He
is
must
a
have
good
a pump in hand.
assignment here. He could, but you got that endurance of dwarves and a bracers, so I think he did the right assignment there on Thraren. That was a good move, probably there.
Yeah, any pump is probably going to go on the Inquaya to kill the Arwen, is my guess.
He's got the vitality, right? Let's see. I mean,
no. Taldea will get Aragorn, though. There's no amount of pumps that would keep him alive.
Yep.
Yeah, this is close.
So here comes the threats. He decides to kill the guy who's going to die. Oh, don't do that. Don't put yourself...
Let's see what happens now. We've got 2 more hanging out there.
He turns him into burdens. Oh, okay. So he didn't see the... he didn't see the trick that we did. Threat juggling.
Well, yeah, let's see. Maybe the next time this this league goes around, or whether it's a tournament format or not, we'll have to see. Okay. Well, now you've got
4 fierce guys and
4 fierce.
4 people on the table. One of them's a Frodo.
Yeah, does he have that Hobbit intuition that comes with the deck?
Oh.
This is...
He might, but now let's see. What if he was holding the pump just for this moment?
Yeah, it's possible.
I don't know. We'll see. Maybe not, though. I feel like he would have used it on Arwen, right?
Yeah. Try to get her out.
Because he doesn't have a way out. There's no way out.
That's true.
Well, I shouldn't say that. There is, because you could always have gotten something in a pack, but if you know what's in the decks. Wow, what a close game.
Yeah, that was a nail biter. That was great. Fun to watch. And this time around, I made it so that they have a regular clock. They're not going to time out. Crazy.
Yeah, quite the bloodbath. But that was...
Yeah,
that was quite the call. I think Mock was really risking it with that run. The fact that there were 11 cards in TMS's hand, all he would have needed was 1 more Nazgul that he could have played, and I think everything would have come crashing down. But he rode that line just barely.
and TMSS played really well to recover from that start and put pressure on Mock to have to double there.
Oh yeah, that opener was amazing. Having his Arwen taken off the field just as soon as she was put down, that was that was an active match back and forth.
Yeah, really
I have to say, I felt like TMSS2 had that going into 9. I really thought he did, but he played it really well. I think his draw could have been a little bit more in his favor. It was a little tough luck there. If none of those 11 cards were playable with the Twilight to be able to do it.
Yeah.
But as you also pointed out, he changed out the site. Another fierce... We can't really know whether the burden's drawing those cards or whether that the Otsea being fierce would have been the game winner.
Yeah, I also feel like the kicker was at site 8 when he exerted... can't remember the name of the Nazgul, but it was a 9 strength, 2 vitality minion. And then the pump from Aragorn was able to kill him. I think if you have that extra... But it might just be that it was the same name. Like maybe it was a Lamenia and he wouldn't have been able to play another Lamenia. I don't know.
Yeah. So. Looks like one of the... I hadn't really noticed, but looking over here, it looks like one of the weaknesses is that there does seem to be a few of these that only have a single copy. So there's only 1 copy of Taldea. There's only 1 copy of Nelia. Or I'm sorry, that is 2 copies of Nelia. But it's still like brittle, right? Like,
yeah, one of the interesting things is using, I think it's Hatred Stirred, and deciding if certain things need to get shuffled back in to your deck if you win a fierce skirmish. So it's really quite an interesting and strategic setup where you're trying to decide how this is going to play out.
If that had been one of
Hey,
his
Wink.
3 or 4 conditions that he had gotten early on, I think that would have made the difference later.
Yeah, because you end up stacking up with so many Nazgul in your draw deck to draw into for sight 9. This is interesting, though, in this game. Wingfoot has a Smeagol to start, which is huge. Now, he's got a whole ton of burdens. But Smeagol being able to potentially save you early on or just be cannon fodder if you need someone to die is very helpful.
Yep.
We have 5 burdens being bid. Now, we know that since both of these... Yeah, so since his opponent is not Nazgul, it's not going to punish him quite as much, but... yeah, we have another drawn elf here.
Yeah, we got Elrond first turn. That's pretty good.
Elrond and Galdor, so already Lady Endomiel is just one away from triggering. Sadly, it's not the BC errata version, which is a little more fine-grained. It's all or nothing. You need to get the 3 to get anywhere.
Right.
Yeah, that's true. It's interesting, too, that he only exerted Elrond once here.
I was just thinking that enough he's afraid of him getting wounded. I don't think there's any way other than if you pulled something from a booster pack, but it would be very odd.
Well, I mean, we already saw the what was it, the Toldea last game, you know, giving +2 strength for all the 6 companions, so there's a few things out there.
Yep.
Well, this is quite the first drop. So you're at Ettenmoor's, which you can make your companions or minions stronger by exerting. But you have this giant orc swordsman who is +2 if he's skirmishing an elf on top of the 13 strength from his vile blade. So you're looking at 15 strength if he puts it on any of the elves, or probably a dead Smeagol unless he pumps him enough.
Yeah, just like you said, you get that for, at the cost of a burden, but you have a free cannon fodder for exactly one of these cases.
Well, and this particular version of Smeagol, though, like at Ettenmoor's, he's going to be able to exert 3 times, and he's going to be able to clear out as many. He's got 6 cards in hand to use for the ability, so I think he's going to be just fine.
And I imagine Wingfoot's probably just going to exert. Oh, okay. I would have thought he exerts there so that you first force. Oh no, the Orc Slayer has the other possession on him. He can remove Twilight to pump with the scimitar.
Well, he had 5 Twilight too, so kind of surprising he didn't.
Yeah, maybe he wants to do the wound, but also this is interesting. I never, even when I use Galdor in Sealed and Fellowship Sealed, because sometimes you just want another ally, for whatever reason. Maybe you pulled that Arwen. You almost never use him because it's like rare that you want to give your opponent minions back, but there are special cases, and this is one of them where you have these regroup guys that you pick, Nelson, which with the scimitars and swords, they have the ability to actually survive to regroup and potentially do that damage that wipes out a key companion.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's also one of those things where these minions aren't necessarily terribly threatening later on down the path. It's just on site 2 where you're not quite set up yet. Juggling them back could totally be worth it.
Yeah, and I'd imagine, like you said, dmaz, I think Galdor's probably going to get used here because Elrond gets to heal him every turn anyway.
Yeah, so may as well. Like there's almost no downside. Try and eke a double out of what otherwise looks like a very scary position.
Yeah, to your point, Ketura, I'd say I didn't have enough faith in Smeagol. I was like, oh, there he's cannon fodder. It's like, well, wait a minute. he stood up to that beast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's a good companion for this league for sure. I think using this muster is quite interesting too. This deck can cycle super quickly with Elven Scout and with the Frodo that can gain muster by exerting. Oh, this is interesting. So he lets his Smeagol die.
Yeah, well,
he didn't want you.
Smeagol was the only one who could stand up to the other one, and only at Ettenmoor's. So, he had another vile blade.
Now.
So now he's back.
I guess Well, he does have his
Exactly.
Site 3 allies, though.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, I didn't consider. We were questioning. Nelson. We were thinking like, why did he not exhaust his Elrond? And maybe if he's thinking,
This
he's
exact
got
situation,
he's got a
yeah.
fight. He's got this must have been what he was thinking. It's like, although
Yeah.
that is a vile blade. 13, 14, 15. Yep, it might work out there for
Huh.
him.
Yeah, that actually worked out pretty good for him, having that vitality available.
It
So
would take 2 mortar strength to kill Elrond there too.
I like how we were both right about Smeagol, that he was in fact able to stand up for himself, but in the end he turned out to be a chump that was just completely ran over. So.
Right. Well, he got his double in, and he's still in decent shape. Arwen's on the table. Frodo with 5 burdens, though, which, we don't. There are no NKs in these decks, correct? I don't remember ever seeing one.
No, not the shotgun one.
I'm sorry, yeah, the shotgun one, Lieutenant of Morgul. But there are other cards that target 5 burdens that, again, as we've been saying, see absolutely no play. But they could be potentially disastrous for someone in a sealed format such as this if you can spot those 5+ burdens.
Yeah, absolutely. Something I'm also just realizing is an interesting dynamic is if Wingfoot gets the ally Selindi, he gets the Site 3 text. Play an elf to draw a card, which could be quite relevant.
And he had Celinde. Well, not him. It was actually it was the other guy. It was TMS that had Celinde out.
Oh, I take it all back. It says while you can spot your Site 3.
Yeah, so it's got to
So
be
it won't
okay.
be his.
So that's your opponent's. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you guys able to hear that lawnmower going on or the weed whacker outside my window?
Nope.
Okay, cool. I will suffer in silence then.
Yeah, this Lemeni is actually pretty fun. You get a few items in the discard pile, and then he gets a little big.
In a sealed context, that's nice. In constructed, we had to nerf him.
Yeah, there was that ridiculous deck where you just put thousands in the discard pile, essentially.
Yeah, and then he walks around with plus 50 strength, so we gave him a +9 limit in PC formats.
Yeah.
Which is still monstrous. You're still doubling the strength, but...
Yeah, I was going to say it's still an absolute monster for 4 cost.
Oh, what? Unable to connect.
It's interesting. Oh, so we... Yeah, it's interesting seeing him take the wound on Gimli there. Because he kind of put himself in a spot where if there was a pump, the Nazgul could have killed Gimli, which would have been quite devastating.
I think that's one of those things you always have to think through and hope that there's not one there, but 90% of the time you're not going to see one. And since these decks didn't come with one, it all comes down to what people drew in their boosters. That could be a very excellent...
There are some Nazgul pumps. There's 2 pumps in that deck for the Nazgul to hit hard. So it's a bit risky, for sure.
What did I miss? Foul Clutches?
Foul Clutches, and I think it's called Riders in Black. Let me take a look.
Discard 3 cards from hand to make a Nazgul strength +3. Ouch. And then what was the other one?
Riders in Black.
Gotcha.
Okay, well, he got to 3 pretty unscathed, so no harm there.
Didn't have to do nearly as much work as Wingfoot did.
Yeah.
And there's our third.
Yeah.
So Lydia Domiel is finally up at a point where she's going to be doing some work. And yeah, there's Elrond now going all the way down to the wire with his vitality, which seems a little bit risky to me, considering you only just got the 3 allies here. But support area is looking pretty good, but the fellowship itself is kind of lean here.
Yeah, you really need either Glorfindel or what's it called, Asploth, Although Arwen is essentially a strength 9 right now.
Yeah.
She could. I was thinking she might do the scouting ban, but he might not be considering doubling anyway. I was thinking the only way to make use of that condition and double to 5 if you really wanted to get rid of that scouting ban, so he's not giving the bonus there for cutting back
Yeah,
on the roaming penalty. But
I definitely would have done the roaming band on Arwen so that if he
mm,
exerts and wounds, you kill him, and then if the Isengard retainer uses all his vitality, you can double move and use the condition to take the last vitality from him too.
Yeah.
might not want to double though. I mean, just you're
Well,
worried about.
he wouldn't want to double
Yeah.
now, but in the situation where there was nothing on the table, then that seems like a.
Maybe take the walk. I'm looking at the scouting. So I think you got scouting bans. You don't get. We didn't, or you didn't give them any of those that just make their site number -1 because those cheap scouts or trackers. I'm sorry, those cheap trackers can quickly just remove the entire roaming penalty for the rest of your cheap orcs at site 5.
Yep. Yeah, the only one that does it is the Orc Scouting Band.
It just gives you that -1. You got to get 2 of them down to essentially take away the roaming penalty.
He's only got 3 in the deck, yeah. Oh, putting it back in hand. That does not seem like.
Interesting.
Oh, he did want to
Well, he
double.
found a different way to double, but
Well,
interesting.
I suppose in doing that, you get him off the table anyway. And
Sure.
this is. Oof.
I will say though, I prefer the idea of not letting them replay something that has that much wounded potential.
Yeah.
I agree. Let's see.
Especially given that he's already given up this many burdens this early on. That's a little worrying.
No pun intended. Sorry, that's an Urk deck, and I don't think you get that card in the Urk deck. We didn't see the Urks this time around, but that was fun. There was a lot of really neat cards in that deck that can make the archery just absolutely disastrous for you.
Yeah, I played the allies deck the villagers deck, and it was a lot of fun. And there were a lot of very unique situations where sometimes you want to shoot allies, sometimes you want to shoot companions, sometimes you're trying to get stops, sometimes you're trying to get kills. I was really enjoying the varied gameplay and playing that deck. So as a whole, I was pretty happy with how this league played out, with at least 3 of the decks seeming to be viable depending on your polls, and we still have never seen the Lothlorien deck get played. But I'm still not convinced it's as bad as everyone thinks it is. I don't think it's amazing, don't get me wrong. It still might be the worst, but I don't think it's leaps and bounds behind everything else.
Mock getting himself nicely set up here, getting just about everything that he wants. He's got a Thrarin with a hand axe. He's got Boromir with his horn. Armor on Gimli. Now, interestingly, I think that he transferred that hand axe. Did he transfer the hand axe? Maybe he didn't. That would have actually been at a home 3. That's actually the only time that you can transfer between such an ally and the
Orc Insurgent.
Oh, how many are there? Cards. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so drawing 2 cards and adding 2. Yeah, well.
Okay, so Mock bid a little more conservatively this time around so that he wouldn't have the 3 burdens.
It's a good thing he didn't. He'd be getting torn up right now, I think, if that was the case. Although things are still looking pretty bad for him.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. It looks like you probably use Horn of Boromir so that you can have... Well, and he also used Toldea to put Riders in Black back in his hand, so he definitely has a pump. Now, how many Nazgul he also has in his hand to make that pump useful, I don't know. But he does have 8 cards in hand, so it seems like a decent chance he's got 2 or more.
I'm not sure that horn is the call here because it's only going to put him up to 7 or 10.
8.
Which
8.
are
Yeah, but well, it doesn't really make a difference though. 8 or 11.
Yeah, that's a loss either way. And 14 is enough to overwhelm both Gimli and Boromir. So Aragorn has to take one of these big guys, and then presumably sacrifice the other. But they're both fierce, so
they're both fierce, and he has the pump in hand. Like this is going to be a slaughtering. I think
he might have to use the horn just out of necessity, not even to try and win anything.
Yeah, I like this play of use the double horn. Make sure that he gets to have 2 fights if you need him. This Toldea version, where you get to get an event deck, is it has been very relevant in the matchups I played against this Rivendell deck. Oh, interesting. They're damage +1 because of the sight. I missed that. That is big.
He might not have seen it either.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Really
just when you're patting yourself on the back, thinking, "Oh yeah, I didn't give him the 3 burdens," and boom, there it is. So that's Theron dead, isn't it? Yeah, he was expecting to use him twice, and
yeah. Wow, this is brutal. Yeah, he just
cursed by my own sight. Oh, he did. Yeah, he was the one that played that. That's Now, what was he hoping to do here with Gimli? Okay, he had no Mere Ranger in hand again. All right.
This is going to be tough now. Because this Sauron Shadow for Mach isn't one that particularly gets a whole lot of kills unless you can force them to be doubling. So when you're behind on the sight path and your free peoples are getting beat up, you're in a tough spot there.
So Aragorn's getting exhausted, and then I guess you kill the swordsman. There's no point not to. But that horn is looking pretty useless. Theron being gone is a huge blow.
Yeah, okay, he's just going to kill off Boromir because he knows he has the pump and he doesn't want Aragorn to die, it looks like. Wow, what a turn. That is just brutal.
The irony of it being his own site, too.
Yeah, you have all these Sauron orcs with all these Sauron weapons, and you think, hey, this is going to be great when I play a bunch of stuff there. And then the Nazgul just
he didn't even get to use it.
Harder.
Like,
no.
Ouch, 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 ouch.
I do like when things like that happen, right? Where you think you're totally playing sites to help yourself, and it turns out to be a double-edged sword. It's always an interesting interaction.
Oh dear. Well, it is a site 6, and he's got at least one.
Okay, what does he have for maneuver here? Hopefully he can get some. Well, he does have the Sam that can take 2, but does he have? Well, I guess he can put any of the 7 strength guys on Frodo, so he's not out of the game, certainly, even without a pump here. Oh, and he does have the 1 site 6 ally. He has Calaglin that he just played, so that can fight too if he needs it.
This guy's going to come back as fierce, but I guess you can always just throw him on Calaglin.
Oh, and he will have to use Calaglin because the Orc Fanatic can be discarded to make another Orc Strength +3.
So you don't want to risk that going on anyone. Although, as soon as he does that, Marauder stops being quite so scary. But I think stick the Marauder and the Fanatic both on Sam, and then...
Or if you put the Fanatic on Frodo, he can't pump himself that way, so you might be safe doing that.
That could work.
I'm really liking all the decisions that have to be made in these games. They've been really fun games to watch.
Yeah, this sealed has such a neat flavor to it. Um, and just the because it is you've got possibility of there being the towers site paths as well. You've got threats in play. It's just it's got kind of a cool flavor to it.
Yeah, I'm really happy with how this one played out because when I made it, I was like, I don't even know if this is really going to work. You know, like having things focused so much on allies. Is this going to be really be playable? Are we just going to add so much Twilight with the allies and your companions are going to be too weak that you'll get blown up? But I think a decent balance was achieved. And you know, as always, maybe a few decks are slightly stronger than the other two, but hey, that's the nature of creating these often.
Certainly, and it's neat to just the decks there are just maybe not as straightforward or a little bit more of a challenge to play are also fun, can be very fun, and can end up being very strong if you get the right pull. Um, I
Yeah,
mean,
that's the other part of it.
Sam's a great pull. Sam, that's just an all around wonderful card to see when you're playing sealed if he doesn't appear in the decks.
Yeah, absolutely. Getting a Sam is like you know, hitting Christmas.
Yeah.
What?
Okay, all right. So he yeah, that's very interesting. He doesn't put anyone on the Elven Scout. I keep thinking one day someone's gonna draw a Enduring Evil and
And just
really surprise
completely
someone
wreck
with
him. Yeah.
yeah.
Putting the
But okay,
robber. I mean, I guess there wasn't anyone else who could really do that would have helped. The robber was going to win regardless.
yeah.
I almost think. Did Sam even need to die?
I don't know. I don't.
Like, considering that there was still one guy left, I think you could have pulled it off. Although Sam was only 3 versus all these
Yeah,
7s, he might have gotten overwhelmed regardless. So you
I
may
think
as
that's the
well.
case.
Yeah.
Unless he's sitting with Hobbit Intuition in hand, I think he was probably dead. But yeah,
If one of
really
the
interesting.
potential ring bearers had to die, I would have said like, here's a way to get rid of your burdens.
Yeah,
It's
Mm,
bye bye
yeah.
burdens.
I think the exact same way. What just seeing this Dunland guy made me think of when I was playing in the league for Allies Sealed, and I drew the in one of my packs. I had the Dunland minion that you can assign to an ally, and he did
Hmm.
so much work. It was awesome. But again, that's kind of like a card that normally has almost no value, and that in this deck or in this league, it suddenly is extremely important.
So he's got his meat shield Theoden again. Let's see if he lasts any longer.
Yeah, I'm looking for that one card. Was it come not come down? Oh yeah, it was. Was it come down? No, driven back because there's no limit on it. Like cards that are just almost completely useless. Event cost 3, archery spot 2, Isengard archers to make minion archery total +1 for each card in the dead pile. I got smoked by that, completely smoked in this field, and it was just fun to see it uh, be so brutal. It's a card and constructed that you normally can't make use of.
Yeah, you never get to see it really, so it was fun to build a deck that utilized some of those cards.
Mm.
That makes
What
me
I liked
wonder
about that,
if we ought to try and include like maybe some cards in PC that do stuff like what we did with the site control count increasing. Like, what if there was a shadow card that said, the number of allies you can count is +3 or something, just to make those sort of things usable, even in a situation where you don't have any actual allies on the table.
it's interesting, but it's very specific too. You
Yeah.
might need to also have cards created that benefit off of it somehow.
Yeah. This isn't nearly such
That's-
so fearsome a shadow phase, but we are going
Well,
to
it's
end up with
still pretty tough to double, and not
not.
having Terrarium die was huge. That was that
Yeah.
surprise damage +1 is going to be very game breaking, I think.
Gonna have to juggle this into a threat, and then one of these guys dies next turn, so they're only
No, because
having
you can
2
put
vitalities.
only 2 of them are fierce, so he can take another threat with Gimli and take a wound with Aragorn. And okay, we're just murder the king, no problem.
No gods, no king, only men and dwarf and hobbit.
And if he wants, he can use Otsea's text now to get that 3rd burden. I can't remember if he's played. I think he has played both of his swords already, though. Oh, but there's 3 in that deck, though, so he might choose to.
I think you may as well, because there's a couple of those cards that let you juggle possessions, aren't there? May as well, just in case the opportunity arises.
Yeah, it's probably worth doing. Having to discard a card from hand is interesting, though, too.
You got rid of the Nertia again.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, this is looking pretty rough for Mock here. He probably knows he needs to swarm. That seems like the only real chance. And I imagine Wingfoot's going to be saving all his cards that let him exert allies to fight in skirmishes and keep. No, that's actually useful against orcs too. Having whatever that guy's name is, Golrady or something like that.
Yeah. And with Elrond here able to heal him up, he'll be able to do it on 2 turns too.
Yeah, and this feels like a game where he's going to be able to single move every single time. So yeah, these okay.
This has got to be the one match where Pillager is not nearly as impressive as he normally is. This guy's normally an Aragorn Slayer, but not. Nobody cares on this table.
If he's thinking where to put a possession, no, okay.
It's an interesting. It's like if he doesn't get the companions down, Mock could, do his best to try to put together some kind of hand that he get to that amount he needs on Frodo.
Mm-hmm.
There's also the other guy that can discard. I missed a little bit of the match. I don't know if he played his the orc that discards to make another one.
Yeah, he did play that one.
He did, okay.
But I think you get 2 of them if I remember. No, hold on. Oh yeah, you do get 2.
Yeah, 2 fanatics.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it. It's always interesting. You've got go Radier as well though too. That's a nice backup.
This is interesting. I'm almost surprised that Mock didn't hold Morgul Slayer to try to get a swarm, maybe at the next site. Maybe if he has Mordor's strength, actually, because of Aristor, the ally, being able to prevent a wound, he might need 2 in hand. And there's 1. But if he has a second one and wins the skirmish, but then he can still lose the skirmish by having Golradier exert twice. It's going to be hard to get a kill here. I like what he's trying to do, but I don't think it's going to work. Yeah,
I think doing this
double.
to try and burn there, because now she can't go, so you have to put that on there. And then...
Well, he has to win the skirmish now with Golradier, yeah. Yeah, burn some resources, but Elrond's going to bring most of them back anyway for next turn.
With only 1 copy of Forest out, it's not gonna. Double's not really in the cards. Not with 2 guys on the table.
And now, who do you probably choose to wound? Ooh. Conventional wisdom says kill Arwen, but I just feel like you can always keep Arwen alive. Maybe try and kill the Elven Scout and make it so that Glorfindel can't be played. I think I would have gone the other way. Because you're anticipating being able to win skirmishes against the Elven Scout a lot more than against Arwen.
Oh
Do you think he
man,
didn't?
that Gimli's battle axe would actually combo really well with the armor here. But I don't think that Mock has realized the threat juggling potential yet. You could just perpetually keep those 3 threats up there all the time, at least until you're down below 3 companions.
Right.
I wonder if Wingfoot chose not to use, was it Gol or Galdor to put the Slayer back, just to prevent him from being able to hang on to a cost 2, like a cheap orc, in a place where he feels like he's comfortable. He can just single move to 9.
I feel like at this
Right.
point in the game, giving a minion back to your opponent is really not. Like, you have to be purchasing something with that, either a double or
Right.
something. Otherwise, you're just handing victory to your opponent.
Yep. Helping
Yeah,
him build a shed.
I am excited to see what happens at Site 8, though. Like, if he doesn't draw Golradir or Hobbit Sword, things could get a little spicy. I am assuming he's just holding at least one event to get an ally involved in a fight, though. I can't imagine him not having one.
So Atea is going to be able to recycle either himself or Nelia. That's a good pull.
I think you get that one you get one copy, yeah.
Oh, was that one that came with it?
Yeah.
Oh, there he is. Yep. Never mind then. Terrible pulls all around.
Yeah, it's all garbage, yeah.
Throw down Lingering Shadow. May as well. It's not going to do anything, but... Was that one that came with it? Or, yeah, one copy of Lingering Shadow?
Yeah, you get one of those.
I guess if you get it before the Sanctuary, it could matter. Oh, no, they are. This is, yeah, Mock just went to the Sanctuary, so if he heals up Gimli, that's 2 burdens. I take it back. That's not bad.
Yeah, the big thing here is, though, all Wingfoot really needs to do is stop a double. So he won't return anyone to hand. He's just going to leave everyone out. And with the number of wounds out there, I just don't see how it's possible to double for Moth. Okay, well let's see what happens here. I think 8's going to be a big site. Okay, another.
Interesting.
Oh,
That could combo very nicely with Forests.
Yep, that's a nice one. And that's a pull. I don't think that comes with the deck, does it? No.
no.
So that's a very nice pull to have
Here's
for
the
this
second
deck.
Forest. Oh, but what was that one? Friends of Old. Reveal a card at random and heal X allies. Oh, okay.
You can just keep digging for the Glorfindel.
Lorien Guardian's just it's a nice pull, and Tower's sealed as well.
Interesting that he didn't go all the way. Like, he's got more allies than he needs. I'm a little confused by
full
that.
exert on that one. Just get all the cards into hand. You mean?
Yeah, and he still had two spots available from the Rule of 4.
Ooh, Taskmaster is nice.
Oh boy.
Here we go.
Hey, and we went straight through. This is bizarre. We went straight through. I expected a maneuver event. Oh, well, it can't be played.
Maneuver events can't be played.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's so big.
Because he was probably hoping to do the support of the last Homely House, right? So
yeah, for sure. I think that might just win the game for Mock.
Because if he had a couple copies of that, he could have kept himself alive. But now I think it's just Frodo's about to get beaten into the dust.
Wow.
That's
really great play from him.
Neat choice with that site, because while you're pulling a lot of allies into play with these events, the Thrarin deck is not based on a maneuver event. So Thrarin can pull himself into play while you're preventing your opponents from being able to get their allies.
And it turned out, yeah.
And the fact that he used Golradir twice last last round.
Yep.
If he had held that in reserve, it would have just barely
You know what
kept
the
him
other
alive
crazy part
here.
is?
What's that?
He did that. He played that event to heal. He got to heal one ally, and he chose to heal Elrond over Golradir. And if he had done Golradir,
If he had done Golradir, he would. Man, look at that! All those different ways that this could have gone for him. Oh
Wow.
man!
Honestly, really well played by Mock. I had no belief that he had a chance to win this game.
But that Gates of Argonath came in clutch. Okay, well.
And you know he was planning for it. He's a very smart player, and he knows the deck well.
So that's 2 wins for
really
Mock.
Impressive.
Yeah, he.
So Mock's won the tournament.
Unfortunate that we only had the 3 people show up, but Mock definitely earned his spot, I think.
Absolutely. Those were really good games. That was a lot of fun.
Okay, well, that's that, I suppose, for the stream. The event was a lot shorter than we were hoping, but sometimes that's the way the cookie crumbles. So thank you for tuning in.
At least the quality was good, right?
Yeah.
Congrats, Mock.
That was definitely 2 excellent games worth watching. So.
Yeah, those were great games, great matches. It's just so fun to have that back and forth. You know, there was didn't feel like either of them were a total blowout at any point. So very enjoyable to see.
All right. Well, I think that about wraps up the stream. Thanks for tuning in.